It's the storyteller's world. It's the storyteller's world, a place for all to grow. We'll lighten up your world with something you should know. Every man, woman, boy and girl, join in the storyteller's world.
Today's story is entitled Social Malaise. Rosie was home from work early because she had a stress headache. She worked in a very busy organization as the company secretary. All the secretarial staff had to put in extra hours to ensure that the company reports were ready ahead of the annual general meeting. Her boss Leo noticed the tears rolling down her eyes as she typed and said in a very concerned manner, "Are you okay, Rosie? Your eyes are very red." "Not really. I have a very bad migraine headache," she replied. "Go home and rest," he said. "Angela." "Yes, sir?" "Please come and take over from Rosie." "Thank you very much, Leo," Rosie said with a forced smile on her face. Rosie popped some pills when she got home and relaxed on the couch for an hour and a half. Christian, her husband, awakened her. He always came home whistling and waltzing through the door, jingling his keys in his usual loud manner. Rosie turned gently and beckoned to Christian to keep the noise down. He went, "Hello, what's the matter with you?" he said. "I've got a very bad headache," Rosie replied. "Oh, what a shame. I hope dinner will be on time though, for I am starving." "You only think about yourself," Rosie said under her breath as she dragged herself up. Christian and Rosie had been married for 5 years, but because they were still trying for a baby, coldness towards each other was becoming evident. Rosie prepared the meal and set the table. She shouted to Christian, "Dinner's ready, Chris." Rosie took pictures of the food and placed it on her Facebook page. Her smiles grew broader each time someone clicked on like. Christian took his place at the table and they ate in silence, only with the occasional small talk between them. The following week, they went to visit their friends Yomi and Marie. Marie treated them to a very lovely African dish, jollof rice. Rosie took pictures of the food and immediately, when it was set down, she put it on Facebook and Instagram. "Where did you, a Scottish woman, learn how to cook African food?" her friend Rosie said admiringly as they all sat down to eat. "Have you forgotten that Moji, Yomi's mom, is African, even though his dad is Scottish? That is why Yomi is mixed." "Enough of the history. Let's enjoy our food in peace," Yomi joked. "I like the picture that you put on Instagram and Facebook yesterday, Rosie," Marie interjected. "Was it couscous and chicken? And what vegetable did you garnish it with?" "Oh, that was spinach." It looked like Christian enjoyed every bit of it. His plate was empty when you filmed it in the kitchen. Christian cast a glance at Rosie, then looked away. When they got back home, Christian had a go at his wife. "Have you no shame? Is it everything that we eat in this house that must find its way onto social media? Why must the whole world know what we have eaten in our own house? I was even supposed to be fasting when you filmed my empty plate. What is wrong with you? Can't a man have any privacy in his own home? And what is wrong with filming the food that I cooked with my own hands? Must you be so dramatic about everything?" "Well, I have warned you," responded Christian. "Don't start what you cannot finish." He stormed out of the sitting room. Rosie shook her head as if to say, "What is wrong with him?" There was a message alert on Rosie's phone. Her eyes almost popped out when she saw who was messaging her on Facebook Messenger. "Hey babes, I've been searching for you for over 6 years." Emeka was Rosie's first love. She had loved him so much, but her mom was concerned about his race and daily discouraged her from having anything to do with him. They even moved cities just to ensure that those two didn't end up together. She looked at the message long and hard, deciding whether to respond. Emeka kept the pressure up. "Just respond by saying hi. That will be good enough for me, Rosie." He sent her another message on Messenger. "This is my phone number," it read. "Please call me when you are free." Rosie typed, "Hi, Emeka." He complimented her couscous, the spaghetti carbonara, and a French jollof rice that she had shared on Facebook. He commented, "Couscous, my favorite, and you look gorgeous in red." Rosie read the message and began to reminisce about the good old days. She chuckled to herself. Emeka sent another message. "I'm in Leeds, babes, just to see you." "How did you know that I'm in Leeds?" she replied. "You checked in, remember?" The next day, Christian was going away for a company business meeting. He kissed his wife without showing any emotion, and off he went. She couldn't wait to see him leave. She posted a message on Facebook saying, "Christian has gone away for a week, so I will be setting the table for one." She put a sad emoji and wrote "lol" beside it. Laugh out loud. She loved the comments this generated. "No washing up. Skip dinner. I can share mine with you. Let me take you out." Rosie took a picture of her cheese and tomato sandwich and homemade soup and posted it on her Instagram and Facebook. Then her mind drifted. The next day, Rosie got up, ready to meet up with Emeka. Her mind wouldn't be quiet. What would Emeka look like? Just as she locked the front door, a car pulled up in front of her house, and a 6'5" man came gliding towards the driveway. Sure enough, it was Emeka. He swept her into his arms and whispered, "I missed you, babes." She looked nervous. Please, not here. "Come out with me. I've got the evening all arranged," he said. Rosie got into the car, and then she looked worried because the car windows had tinted glass. Emeka smiled as if he knew what she was thinking. "I know that you are married, so I will show you that I'm a perfect gentleman, for I respect your commitment." That comment made Rosie kind of relax now. Before long, the old flame ignited, and they chatted this way as if they had never been apart. Emeka brought some nibbles, so they snacked on those when he parked his car. They just sat and chatted, catching up and thinking about and talking about old times, and he dropped her off in good time. Rosie thought this was very impressive. The next day, Rosie was working late, so Emeka parked in the street corner, and Rosie let her colleagues leave before she walked down to join him. "Hi, Rosie. I'm taking us to a discreet place where we can just talk. I've got so much on my mind that I want to unpack." They went back to his place. It was a house that was let out as a guest house by the owner who was away for a week. The lady who catered whenever there were guests had cooked and left them a lovely meal. They tucked into their meal while chatting excitedly. Emeka waited on Rosie. She had always enjoyed being spoilt by his caring gestures. He thought ahead about everything, even the minutest details. Emeka reminded her of their body chemistry. They had always been perfect together. "Now tell me about your family," Rosie asked. "I don't have one," Emeka replied with a mouthful. "I told myself that if I can't have you, I won't have anyone. I've tried a few relationships, don't get me wrong, but they didn't measure up to you. So I had to call it quits. But you know I'm married, right? Yes. But I'm prepared to wait. Wait? For what? Till you've had enough of him. They both burst out laughing without thinking. Emeka pulled Rosie to himself and whispered into her ears, I've always loved you and will ever love you. He kissed her passionately. Emeka played some soft music which set the scene for the evening. They both woke up in each other's arms. Rosie jumped up with her alarm. When it went, she was horrified. When she realized that she was still in Emeka's place, I've got work today and I haven't brought extra clothing or toiletries. I'm going to be late. Oh my gosh. Look at the state of my clothes. They're all rumpled. So I can't even rewear them. Emeka surprised her when he drew out a suitcase and it contained clothes and underwear that fit Rosie perfectly. He also gave her some toiletries. How did you know? She blurted out. Everything you see on social media helps me, babes, to be one step closer to you. I researched because I love you so much, and you constantly talk about what size you are anyway. She laughed. And he smiled. After a whole week of being together, the two had become inseparable. Rosie found it difficult coping with her own husband's company when he finally returned, and it was unbearable when he tried to touch her, for she was constantly comparing. Christian, Emeka. Rosie's phone was always interrupting, even intimate moments, because once the ping came in, she would jump up to see who it was. In irritation, Christian snatched the phone and saw a message. Rosie babes, are you there? I miss you. Christian confronted his wife. Rosie, who is this? None of your business. She snatched her phone back. You shouldn't be looking through other people's phones. But you're my wife. Yes, not your slave, she retorted. I have the right to privacy. Christian was enraged, so he handled Rosie roughly. So who have you been saying behind my back, you whore? No one. Leave me alone. You're hurting me. Christian was hurt, and the air between them became stiffer and stiffer. In the next few weeks, Rosie was very sick and could not keep any food down. Christian attended to her and became even more loving. Rosie accepted the tender, loving care because she knew she couldn't cope on her own, especially the way she was feeling. She met up with Emeka at her lunch break. Emeka, I'm pregnant, she said in a whisper. I know the baby is definitely yours, so I can't keep it. Emeka pretended that he didn't hear the last sentence. That's great news, babes. I would love to be a dad, and especially the father to your child. But I'm married. Then leave him, Emeka said earnestly. Don't kill an innocent child. Don't kill my baby. He's mine. Ours. There's a slim chance it could be Christian's. I'm so confused, she said. It doesn't matter, Emeka interrupted. Whichever way, I'll still raise the child as ours. Give love a chance. Rosie's mind was muddled up. Emeka, please, can you stay away from me? Just give me some space for a while. I need to think. I really need some time to think. That's not going to happen, he said. I want to monitor your tummy. If it's not the right size it should be, I will raise the alarm. No matter what happens, I am here for you, babes. The day of delivery finally came. The midwife, Jenny, encouraged Rosie. Rosie, push, push, you're fully dilated. And the head of the baby was visible. Christian held her hand and wiped sweat off her brow. Rosie, come on, push, push now, Jenny, the midwife, encouraged. Push, Rosie, sweetheart, her husband Christian echoed. Out popped the baby, crying. You have a baby boy, the midwife said as she cut the cord and wrapped the little boy in a towel. She stared at the baby in disbelief, but she had to be professional. The midwife looked at Rosie and then looked at Christian questioningly. Christian stretched his hands for his son, wondering why the midwife had suddenly changed her mood. Christian was horrified to see a black baby with a flat nose, brown eyes, and curly hair. The little fella was even a shade darker than most mixed-race children. Rosie closed her eyes, wishing that the moment would pass by. Christian began to cry and shake uncontrollably. He sobbed, "Rosie, why? Why? It's his, isn't it?" Pointing to the baby he had just lowered into the little cot. The midwife, feeling quite embarrassed and not quite knowing what to do, said, I'll be back in a moment. She spoke in whispers to the other midwives, and the news spread like wildfire. "Rosie, you have been seeing a black man behind my back, right?" He looked her in the eye and she looked down. "Now what will I tell my family? I can't even cover this up for you. His color will give us away. We must give this little fellow up for adoption immediately as well. We'll say he was a stillbirth. What an embarrassment. What were you thinking? And I've always been faithful to you, Rosie. I don't deserve this," Christian said through sobs. Jenny came back. The couple were given a private room, but Emeka was close by. He had been monitoring since the day he knew that Rosie was pregnant. Nothing was about to steal his pride and joy. He strolled forward confidently and made his way to the side road. "Congratulations, Rosie." He brought in a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Emeka took a cursory look at the new arrival and smiled. "This young fellow is mine." "Stay out of this," Christian bellowed. "You have done enough damage to my family. You are bad news. I am giving this bastard up for adoption for your information." "No, you won't. For your information, this cute fella is not a bastard, for I am the father. He is mine." Emeka had already sent a message and placed a congratulatory note on Rosie's Facebook page. Christian's family heard the news, brought cards, soft toys, and flowers, and rushed to the hospital, only to be caught up in the web of a drama unfolding. A black baby, 2 bickering men, and Rosie lying on the bed with her head to the wall. Emeka took a picture of his baby and another selfie of him and the baby and left. He sounded a stern warning as he glared at Christian. "If you do anything funny with my baby, I will get the police involved." He posted a picture of himself, the baby, and a separate picture of Rosie on her page. Under it he wrote, "Proud father." This generated pandemonium, both on Facebook and in the hospital. People wanted to see for themselves. Finally, Rosie had to request the ward not to allow any visitors at all. It was too much for Christian to bear. He left the hospital, went home, straight to their bedroom. Christian cried his eyes out. "All I wanted was my wife and a happy family. Rosie, why have you done this to me? Why would you cheat on me? I don't know how to cope with this shame. My family is being taken right under my nose, and I'm helpless. I'm such a loser," he cried. He looked at the comments on social media and shook his head. All that he was left with now were memories that came back to haunt and torment him. Christian set up his camera and went live on Facebook. He hung himself in the full view of everyone. On Facebook, he left a visible note saying, Rosie, why did you do this to me? You threw my love back in my face, but why? Marie logged on to her Facebook and saw the post and the picture and saw the sordid sight unfolding. She screamed and called her friend Rosie and Yomi, her husband. Remember, it all started with Rosie checking in on Facebook and putting her food on Instagram. From her postings, everyone knew what city she lived in, what she ate, and her dress size. I'm just thinking here. Must you really live your day-to-day life in public view? It is food for thought. Internet can become a tool of destruction, a social malaise if you don't use it right. If you have been affected by this story, drop us a line. We would love to hear from you at the Storyteller's World. And I want you to keep the comments coming if you would. I have a question for you. Do you think social media is doing more harm than good? I want to hear from you. That's our story for today. Bye for now.
It's the Storyteller's World. It's the Storyteller's World, a place for all to grow. We'll lighten up your world with something you should know. Every man, woman, boy and girl, join in the Storyteller's World. The Storyteller's World. The Storyteller's World.